it's a little challenging to girl mode it up in the gas station with my
Girl
mustache.
mode.
I'm not shaving my mustache for anything. So being able to pass as male is super useful for me because, as we all know, it is much safer.
This is not medicine.
I've been wanting to talk about why I take testosterone as somebody who now identifies as a woman. What better time to do that than my Monday tea shot? Basically, I transitioned from female to male as a kid. So scary, child transitioner. I did this like 2016, 2017. I got a hormone blocker implant when I was 14. After that, I was finally able to live my life and just be a happy kid. And then after a little while on the blocker, they prescribed me low-dose androgen, and I started on testosterone, pretty low dose, when I was 15. All of this healthcare, I am so lucky and so grateful to have received. It was life-saving. Everybody in my life knows, like, that was the right call. Around the time that I was 17, I realized that I wanted to experience what it would have been like, or what it was like, to live as a teenage girl for a bit. I got off of testosterone.
What?
I got my hormone blocker implant removed and went through female puberty for the first time. All of this.
Okay, this is exactly why children cannot consent to transition. This is the most insane video, and they're spilling the beans. Thank God they're spilling the beans. They don't even realize, they're so young, they don't even realize what they're saying. They think this is all normal, and they're calling it healthcare, trans healthcare. This kid should have never been put. Who wants to experience, because they never did experience what it was like to be a girl. Okay, so now I did. Okay, people like myself who never were put on these drugs, irreversible. Wait till I show you the rest of this. It's actually mind-blowing and so disturbing on so many levels, and just proves that we're all right here, that children cannot and should never be put on these drugs to change their sex, because many of them are changing their minds. This one now is stuck taking hormones because they're so screwed up they don't even know what's right or what's left. It's so crazy. So, I'm going to continue to expose this, and it's not because I am anti-trans, I am a transsexual. It's because I really believe this medication can work for an adult who has gone through the process of understanding the pros and cons. Clearly, this person never could understand the pros and cons, and now is backtracking, but making it seem as if it's completely normal. So with that, thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, helping the channel grow. Let's get back into this because it's actually mind-blowing.
Pretty complicated transition history. I've been on and off of testosterone since then, and some people are like, that denotes some sort of instability. I feel pretty regular. Like, I feel happy. I'm not in anguish over my transition history. I am 20 years old, almost 21, and I identify as a woman. My presentation is pretty fluid, but internally, I'm like, I'm a woman, And so why do I take testosterone? This is a good question. Because that's a little bit of a confusing concept. All of the permanent effects of testosterone already happened to me when I was 15, 16 years old. I try to do girl voice, but it just doesn't fit. I don't like it. I don't like talking like this because it's not my voice. I have periods of time where I'm off of testosterone, and it's good in some ways, but estrogen is such a beast. And I grew up only really knowing what testosterone puberty was like. Sometimes I'll be off of testosterone for a while and then I'll be like, I need a fucking break. Give me a break. So right before I started touring a lot this year, I went back on testosterone. One of the reasons was for my energy level. I was dealing with pretty low energy. I also have PMDD, so I was dealing with a week of hell before my period. And testosterone just puts a stop to that for me. Doesn't work like that for everyone, but that's my experience with it. Just generally, I find it easier to regulate when I'm on testosterone. Additionally, I look like this right now, but when I'm on the road, I'll look something like this. And this is very advantageous for me as somebody who is having to pee in gas stations every day. God,
I'm just totally blown away by this person. What is happening? They're 20. They transitioned as a kid, and now they're just all over the place. They're only 20 years old, and they're just sitting there like using their testosterone. Like, I need to do it sometimes. I don't even know what I'm saying because I don't even know who I am, but I'm really a woman, but I'm not. I'm going to be taking testosterone, but I'm trans. I told you, trans is an identity now, and these kids are just being abusive. They are abusing a medical system for their own, like, insecure space, because whoever put them on those drugs should be arrested. And really, we need to look in. Okay, I have to get through this. I just do. It's just
knows it's a little challenging to girl mode it up in the gas station with my
girl
mustache.
mode.
I'm not shaving my mustache for anything. So being able to pass as male is super useful for me because, as we all know, it is much safer.
So if we would have just let this person grow up and be a butch woman, then they could just pass as male, but none of their insides would be like, and they wouldn't be having to shoot testosterone and do all this. I hope somebody out there really sees this and can understand what we are doing to these young kids is so absurd and insane beyond belief. Girl mode. What actual transsexual man like myself would ever say I want to go in girl mode? No, not one.
To live in this world as somebody who looks like a man. For the most part. Like, there's some exceptions, but generally, being a man feels quite a bit safer. Testosterone just kind of makes me feel like myself. Myself is also a woman. Testosterone affirms my femininity in many ways. I don't know. It's hard for some people to understand, and then other people like totally get it.
No, nobody gets it.
It's like
no
a weird approach.
No,
it's kind of like the opposite approach. But
no,
it was also just so liberating being a young woman, a young girl who was assigned female at birth. There are all these expectations for what you're going to be. Even though I have great parents, obviously they let me transition as a kid. Just societally, there's a lot of decisions made for you before you're able to make them. Transitioning completely wiped any of that from like the realm of possibility in the world's eyes for me. Like, I will never be like conventionally the feminine standard.
Oh, I am just waiting for this person in the next 10 years. They are going to be pissed at their parents, pissed at the world. They got so screwed over. You watch. I'm telling you, no actual trans person would ever say what this person is saying. They are so screwed up. It is unbelievable. It's very sad. It's very sad to watch a young person just spiral out in control and just talk about this in a way that makes zero sense. None of it makes sense. It's them trying to sort of justify, well, not sort of, but justify their desire to transition as a child, and the parents went along with it. Now, again, I have my own beliefs. I think parents get duped into it. I do think there are parents who are trans housing, but I also think there's parents who are trying to do the right thing for their kids, and that's a whole very nuanced space on some level. Wow, that person, what a sad story. So the next one I'm going to bring up here is something I've been wanting to talk about, which is called bottom surgery. And that's when you get the penis as a female who wants to transition to a man and feel like they need to have this penis surgery. I didn't get it. Thank God I didn't get it. There's a huge amount of complications. A lot of trans men are not honest about the complications, but when we find a video like this, we can show you that there are complications, many complications. And I actually did a video on a young trans man, female, who got that. The complications were so bad that that person actually died from the complications to this surgery. So listen to this.
Phalloplasty, and in my 2-month update, I mentioned that I was having issues peeing. That has been the case since I've had the catheter out at 6 weeks, but I do now have some answers. Before I get into it, I just wanted to stress as well the importance of a good support network. I am lucky that I have a supportive family, friends, partner, and I've also been able to access therapy throughout this time. I think the people around me have seen me possibly at my worst. I don't think I've ever been so emotional for such a long period of time. I don't think I've ever been so severely depressed. And it's not surgery as a whole. It's this specific complication, how it was manifesting, was quite different to anything that I could find in other people's experiences, and it was just really rattling me like to my core. But yeah, anyway, that's not the point of this video. I just wanted to kind of update on what the issue is and what the fix is. Basically, I have a fistula which was identified on the urethrogram that I had on Monday, and then on Thursday I went back to London to have a cystoscopy, which is where they insert a camera. They did it under general anaesthetic, and they saw the fistula in more detail, but also discovered that I have 2 strictures. So a fistula, if you didn't know, is a hole, and a stricture is a narrowing. Obviously, both cause various issues. I have a stricture at the tip of my urethra, and then also one further back as well. I don't know exactly what the plan is to fix them, but I do know that it will be a surgical repair. Basically, I'm just waiting on the team to discuss my case now, come back with a surgical plan, and then book a date for the repair. I am hopeful that it's going to be within 12 weeks. I did also have a catheter fit on Thursday just to alleviate all of the symptoms that I've been experiencing, because it's just been a head fuck.
Wow.
So that has been massively helpful. I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. This obviously isn't the recovery that I had hoped for. And I do also feel like I've been quite unlucky with the number of complications that I've experienced.
Wow.
But it is what it is, and I'm just trying to now manage the best I can in this interim before more surgery. Like I said, hopefully the catheter gives me a bit more freedom to go out and live my life a little bit in the interim, which will be nice. And yeah, I will, I guess, update when I know more, and hopefully have a date in the next few weeks to month.
It's just so sad to me to watch these people. I don't know if you noticed, or he said that he was looking for support. The thing is that these guys lie about their surgery. They lie. I know 5 dudes who wish they never did it. Okay, so female to male. Okay, so these guys go on there and talk about how amazing. There's so many insane complications with this surgery, and it's like I've never had a problem not having that surgery. Okay, I've never had a problem, and I get it. Some people have the dysphoria down there. I had it. I had full-on dysphoria about having that there and not having a penis. But you get over it. That's the thing with transition. You've got to figure out how to live life in a way that you will never be fully male. Or I'm not a man. It's so frustrating to watch these people reach for something they're never gonna get. And now this kid here has so many complications, totally in pain. That's what he's actually saying. Has to have a catheter shoved down the hole because he can't pee normal, and he's in pain, and now he has to go back to probably have how many other surgeries. These guys are going in and out, and just go to TikTok and look it up. In and out of surgery, and they're all smiling, but I'm so happy I did this. No, you're not. No, you're not. I don't believe it. You are not happy you did it, and you wish you never did it. And it's just fascinating to me, the lies that perpetuate in the trans man community. The lies about transitioning is so great, it's the best thing I ever did at 15. And then that kid is talking about how they are, well, now I think I just want to, like, I'm actually a woman, but I still want to take testosterone. And like, what are you even talking about? It makes us all look mentally insane. Completely, totally insane. You are chasing something you will never achieve. And then you have all these doctors lying to you. And then you have people like this.
Been arguing this because you're just wrong. But when you are born white, you come out of the womb white, and then you're white forever. When you're born a trans man, you are still born female. You don't come out of the womb transitioned. You don't come out of the womb looking like a boy. So you're raised like a girl and you're treated like a girl. That means all of the harassment, all of the sexual assault, all of the groping, all of the female expectations of who you're supposed to be as a person. You are subjected to all of the same harm that cis women are subjected to from the patriarchy. Are you going to tell the 5-year-old that looks like a little girl who actually is a trans boy that they have the same responsibilities as the 25-year-old cis man or the 50-year-old cis man? Or can you recognize that being raised as a little girl is entirely different than being raised as a little boy? Like, you have to be able to acknowledge that a little boy who became teenage boy who became a grown man has benefited from the patriarchy because from the outside, they've always been a man. And how that's different than somebody who looked like a little girl and then looked like a teenage girl and then looked like a young woman and then one day realized that they were trans or came out as trans and then began to transition, and how those things are different. When you look like a woman, you're treated like a woman, and you do not inherently have the same privilege or the same treatment as a cisgender man just because you're a trans man. Because trans men once looked like me and once looked like I looked when I was 15 and what I looked like when I was 5, which was a little girl. I'm almost 30. And there is nothing in the world that's going to take away all of the experience I've had because people viewed me as a woman. The traumatic, horrible, horrendous experiences and the things I've been subjected to do not disappear. And they won't disappear even when I pass. There is room for conversation about how becoming a passing trans man changes the way that you walk through the world because you are viewed as a man. But being a trans man is not inherently the same thing as being a cis man and does not connect to the patriarchy in the same way just because you're a trans man. Because I'm a trans man. I'm a non-binary trans man.
No, you're not.
I am. And no one's walking down the street thinking that I'm anything but a lesbian, usually. There's new...
Because you look like a lesbian and you're not a non-binary trans man. That's total bullshit. Number 8, you're like literally saying that every girl who is born is molested, essayed, has horrible trauma, has all... You literally said that as if all girls have that. What are you talking about? First off, and you're not a trans man. You're not born a trans man, okay? Trans is a mental disorder. It's not an identity. You are saying, oh my God, this stuff this person just said is so off the wall, okay? No, everything that person said, please don't. That's why I have to show you this. That's not true. Everything they're saying is not true. Yeah, you get socialized as a female. So what? There's nothing wrong with that. Gender dysphoria and being socialized are two different things going on there. Okay. And you can't tell this person has gender dysphoria until later on in life after they've had tons of lived experience, understand the difference. But you're literally saying coming out as a girl is the worst thing that could ever happen to you, that you're going to have to deal with the patriarchy. And you're literally saying that what you're saying is, this is what we're trying to say. Tons of these girls who are now transitioning to be trans men are doing it because they're listening to freaks like you who are perpetuating this idea that men are bad and but to become a man is better because then you won't have the patriarchy on you and then you won't be like looked at a certain way and then you won't be having all these things. Why don't you talk to some women, okay, out there and see how they feel about being women? Wow. I just want you all to know this, okay? Yeah, I transitioned at 30 years old, okay? I actually did not dislike being a butch woman. I did not dislike it. Okay, I lived a long time being a butch woman. There just became a time in my life as an adult where I realized I just felt more comfortable living this way. It just makes me feel more comfortable. I walk the world, but I never denounced being a woman, or did I say I hated being a woman? I didn't like some of the things that you get with being a woman, for sure. There's no doubt about it. But this idea that these people are putting out there, that's the worst thing in the world that you could be as a butch woman, is so inherently misogynistic. And also, a lot of butch women are gay women. Not all, of course not, but so now what are you talking about? Maybe they just want to be a butch woman and walk the world in a relationship with another woman. So what about those juxtapositions? Like, it's just so frustrating to watch all these trans, non-binary, fake-ass people come to the table with all of this nonsense. It's so hurtful. And then we got this.
My name is JT, and I'm 7 weeks on testosterone. I am on a daily dose of 25 milligrams of gel, which is 175 milligrams per week. If you want to translate that to injections,
Disgusting.
Be my guest. I am getting my T levels checked soon for the first time since I started, so stay tuned for that. And I wanted to share some updates that I have for you since I updated you on 1 month on T. And I'm almost 8 weeks. I'm in the middle of my 8th week, I guess.
8 weeks.
Anyway, My first update is that my voice is dropping a little bit. I'm definitely having some cracks here and there, especially when I laugh or if I talk really loud. I have more hair than I did before. Definitely like my happy trail, my stomach a little bit is darker. My upper lip is a little bit darker. I have some rogue chin hairs growing in right now. My armpits, like my armpit hair is growing in really fast.
Let's talk about your top surgery there, kiddo. You are 8 weeks on testosterone and your chest looks like that? What? First off, you shouldn't even be getting top surgery until you've been on testosterone for a while. 8 weeks is nothing. I am so disgusted at this medical profession, transgender. Look at this person's chest. What is happening? It is so sick and twisted and wrong. And all they care about is their little chin hair and what was it, happy trail. And what about that chest? Do you care about the way that looks? Because it's just like as if you're all giving up and it's just part of what it's going to be like. It's so sickening beyond belief. These doctors need to be arrested. So then we have this doctor who I despise, Dr. Jack Turbin, who pushes young kids into transition. Okay, so watch this.
Is it gender reassignment surgery? Is that the correct terminology?
Some people use that. We use gender affirming surgery.
Gender affirming surgery. Is that done in adolescence ever?
So the only surgery that sometimes is considered for adolescents is gender affirming top surgery. So for people who are assigned female at birth and have very extreme chest dysphoria, you can consider surgery to remove chest tissue. It's obviously a huge decision, right? The mental health professional would have to be on board, the surgeon would have to be on board, the parents would have to be on board, and you're weighing all the risks of surgery, which is many, against the risks of mental health sequelae these patients might be having. But there are cases where kids are
But that's not a common...
It's not routine.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It's not common. It's not routine. They're not having surgeries. Well, no, they're only having top surgery. You see all the wordplay there? Oh, yeah, you are. I just showed you one, and I could show you a million more 15-year-old, 13-year-olds that you're taking. That is surgery. I don't care what you call it. It's not really surgery. It's only top surgery. It's the most insane. That Jack Turbin is insane. Again, Dr. Frankenstein. And then that doctor who's supposedly is interviewing him has like millions and millions of followers highlighting these people. Why don't you have me on your show so you can show the others? That's why I don't like these people, because they only ever show one side of the story. And we all know, I just showed you from the very beginning, that trans man who got transitioned as a child is now detransitioned, but they're not calling it, and they're back in their woman mode. Okay, so come on, man. I can just poke holes in all of this nonsense. You people are hurting kids. You are hurting kids. Okay, so no, you are giving them gender affirming surgeries. It's basically just surgery. So it's mastectomy. So I want to show you this. Y'all remember this kid who was kind of famous, I think back in the day, was on the cover of National Geographic's The Gender Revolution. At only 9, Avery Jackson appeared on the cover of National Geographic as a trans girl. He was put on puberty blockers and sterilized before natural development. Oh my God, at 9. Now at 17, he identifies as non-binary and asexual. The trans girl went from being a trans girl, look at this picture, to now this picture where they're now non-binary and asexual. Give it a couple 5 more years and they're going to be pissed and suing everyone across the board, okay? So, outcomes shaped by the drugs. These effects are permanent. Now they're at 17, identifies as non-binary and are asexual. Outcomes shaped by the drugs, 100%. Look at them. Look at them at 17. Okay, these drugs are permanent. So now what I want to show you is, this is from a documentary that was released.
Washington D.C. We're gonna be moving to the White House potential area to throw a book in Donald Trump's face.
I don't think that we want to say that. No. This one is Time to Thrive, and it's for people who work with LGBTQ youth. We actually go and meet with our senators and representatives. After we do that, we go and sit and sell some of Avery's books for a little while.
Wow.
Avery, manners.
I just don't want to even have a book. I've done too much in this world. It's ruined my life enough, and now everyone in this world is going to know. If I sell my book, it's going to go on the news along with me for like the 50th time at this point.
So sad.
And it's just going to make my life worse.
Oh my
A
God.
couple years ago, you wanted people to know.
Yeah, I
now-
did, but now that was really stupid, silly mistake, and now I don't.
That was a silly, stupid mistake, and now I don't. Bam, right there. So the little 9-year-old Avery, who was giving puberty blockers and now 17 and a non-binary and asexual because they cannot have sex. They have no sexual feelings, okay? They will never be able to be sexually intimate with anyone, okay? You destroyed this child's life. Now, and the kid is here, 9, telling you, I don't want to do this anymore. Leave me alone. You made them write a book. They had a movie. They were on the cover of National Geographic. You were highlighting them. And now they're just completely in a whole other space. Really. These are children, people. We are not talking about adults. We are talking about children. Every single one of these people I showed you. Okay, the person with the penis surgery, who knows? But what, really? You're grasping for straws to become a man. And this is why the reality counts. This last one I want to show you because it's really, really, really important. This is a detransitioner who takes on Senator Scott Wiener, who I can't stand, okay, at a California hearing I think California is trying to protect criminal doctors from out-of-state investigators, so they're trying to stop investigating. Wiener says SB 497 will become the California Trans State of Refuge law, which will protect child sterilization and mutilization for kids that cannot consent to. So Scott Wiener wants to push this. So let me show you this. This is a detransitioner testifying in front of Scott Wiener and the
Layla Jane. I'm a detransitioner. Last time I testified in opposition to this bill, Senator Wiener claimed that what happened to me is rare, that there is a moral panic, that only a microscopic number of children are undergoing gender interventions, and that anyone who is saying otherwise is a liar. Look at my chest. I matter. At the age of 12, I was approved for a double mastectomy, and I went under the knife a couple weeks after I turned 13.
What?
Listen to my voice. Testosterone did this. My vocal cords are so large, I can't scream. I have difficulty speaking sometimes. Don't you dare trivialize what happened to me and lie to Californians that this isn't happening. I am one of thousands, and this bill is designed to hide the ever-growing number of kids being poisoned, sterilized, and maimed. Young females ages 12 to 17 having their breasts removed increased 13-fold between 2013 and 2020. And continues to increase. The number of children ages 6 to 17 placed on puberty blockers and hormones over a 5-year period more than doubled to 1,400 and 4,200 respectively. And those stats don't include my provider, Kaiser, the biggest chop shop on the West Coast. These are not microscopic numbers. Don't blame my parents who were coerced into consenting because puberty blockers, testosterone, and surgeries were the only treatment offered to address my cutting, suicidal ideation, and inability to function. Not one provider explored my autistic traits. Not one stepped in to consider if my childhood sexual abuse was the reason I wanted to shed my female body.
Wow.
Not one said your daughter is perfect the way she is. Now that would be considered hateful. This bill is designed to protect medical providers who harmed me and are harming other children who run away to this state under SB 107 or who violate safeguarding laws in their own states. Disgusting. All of you should be panicked and ashamed as you sit in silence or look at me with venom. Vote no.
If that doesn't make you want to cry, then your heart is black. Just unbelievable to me that this is trans, and trans has become some weird experimental obsession with children. It has become an obsession with children. It is not right. I will not stand with it. I will not tolerate it. I will continue to expose these people because they are so young, they don't even know that they are talking like this on TikTok and literally giving us the truth to show you. Every single one of these videos, because these people think they're talking in a space that people are all okay with this. People are catching on because you and I are able to expose this stuff to save the next child from going down that horrifying back alley, chop shop. What the hell is going on? Why would we ever do this to children space? And I'm not going to cry. But what I am going to do is continue to do this for those kids out there who are struggling with whatever's going on. And know that we do care about you, but we care about you enough not to put you in this space, okay? So with that, thank you all so much for helping me do this, for continually exposing this, because eventually it will stop and eventually these sick people will be taken out. Okay, so I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.